So we've found cos in all the different quadrants using symmetry. We've found sine because of cos in all the different quadrants using symmetry. This is Pythag, okay? So this is what happens when you're trying to find, if you're given an angle and you want to find the sine and the tan of the same angle. Okay, so you want to find sine, cos and tan all of the same angle and you're given one of them. So we're going to relate this back to Pythag because cos of theta equals 4 on 5. But I also know cos is my adjacent on my hypotenuse. So if I make myself a little triangle down here, I know for this theta, for this unknown angle, my adjacent side is equal to 4 and my hypotenuse is equal to 5. Okay? So if I was trying to find sine from this triangle, I don't know the angle. That's awkward. But I know sine is equal to my opposite on my hypotenuse. Okay, that'd work really well if I knew my opposite. I don't know it yet. But I have two sides in a right angle triangle and I'm trying to find the third. That's Pythag. So remember, when you're trying to find a short side, it is long side squared minus short side squared. So I can figure out that that opposite side is actually equal to 3. So now that I have all three sides, I know that sine of theta, so for this triangle, sine equals 3 on 5. And for this triangle, tan is equal to opposite on adjacent. So that's equal to 3 on 4. And that's how easy this question is. The only other thing we need to think about is the quadrant. 3 pi on 2 to 2 pi is the cos quadrant. So these two answers need to be negative. Done. How easy was that? Okay, and it works when you're given tan as well. So I know they gave it to us as a fraction, but that's the same as 4 on 10. And tan equals the opposite on adjacent. So if I make myself a little triangle, for this unknown angle, I know my opposite side is 4 and my adjacent is 10. I need to find that long side. So my hypotenuse squared equals short side squared plus short side squared. Hypotenuse squared equals 100 plus 16. So the square root of 116, that's not a nice one to do. But what we do need to do is simplify that if we can. So remember, we can use our factor trees to do that. So 58 to 28 to... Oh, my tree is going to just kind of branch this way. 2 and 14, 2 and 7. So that's going to equal 4 root 7. Okay, so now I know the hypotenuse. So sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So 4 over 4 root 7, which we can cancel some of that down. 1 on root 7. Remember, we don't like surds on the bottom, so we're going to times by root 7 on root 7, which gets me root 7 on 7. Beautiful. Cos is equal to adjacent on hypotenuse, so that's going to be 10 on 4 root 7. We can cancel that down to 2 and 5, but remember, we don't like surds on the bottom, so we're going to times it by root 7 on root 7, which gets me 14, 5 root 7. And because we're in the first quadrant, everything is positive. Perfect. So those are the sort of questions you can do on Pythag.